schools, education, university, college, further education, apprenticeships. Hello and welcome to another English podcast with Paul. I'm your host, Paul. And as always, unedited, unscripted, like, "Wah!" I just did that spontaneously to prove this unscripted. That's what it says here. Only joking. Unedited, unscripted. Natural native English conversation where we unravel and debunk and dive into some interesting topics to work out some of our thoughts and feelings and just have a good time. Trying to put the world to rights. That's what we say. Get on our soapbox and put the world to rights. Okay, so education seems to be a really big topic for a lot of people, especially parents. Parents and young people with their future ahead of them are looking at education. But what is education? I mean, how is your child doing in education? Well, let's find out more. Okay. Where do we start? I'll tell you what, let's start at, say, a league table. Now, there's lots of different league tables that will tell you all sorts of different things, depending on where you are and who sponsored the league table. Anyway, let's have a look at this league table of the best countries for education. So we got Denmark, Finland, Japan, Canada, Sweden, Germany, Israel, Netherlands, Singapore, South Korea. That's the top 10. Have a look at the bottom 10. So we've got places like Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Central African Republic, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Guinea, Pakistan, Gambia, and Angola. So those are apparently at the bottom of the system. Then there's other rankings done by other countries. But generally it's considered that education is important for young people. We want our children to do better than what we've done, and we often feel that we want to give the children the best head start in life as possible. That's kind of like the premise of what we want for our children. We all seem to have this vision that education is the stepping stone. It's the leapfrog into a better future so they can better themselves. So we've looked at league tables. What else? Well, what does an employer want from students? What do they want from young people? There's a myriad of factors that discern what an employer might want. But do we want our students, do we want our children to be focusing on what an employer wants? Is it still all about the employer being a good student, being a good citizen of complying with everything? And that level of compliance and yes sir, no sir, I got the answer sir. Is that what we need in the 21st century? Where, as I've stated before, the car has changed a lot in 100 years. The telephone has changed a lot in 100 years. And yet education is still the same kind of thing, Same way lots of children roll in, they get put through the mill, and they all go out with the same style of education. So is it about what the employer wants, or is it more about what the job market is looking for? What is available in the job market? What do you want as an individual? It seems to be more manicured to suit individual needs now instead of the employer's needs. So you might want to travel, and so you may look at doing lots of different things in education to help you get jobs while traveling. You may want to be an entrepreneur. You may want to be a business person of your own. There are lots of opportunities and different ways of earning and making money and making a living. A whole long career, that kind of ideology seems to be dissipating and drifting away with the tide of older industries. So, what should your child do? Are they going to university? Are they going to college? Are they going to do an apprenticeship? That's the question. There's so many options. Okay. And you can even start to think about what preschool you want your child to go to, and how they may have to get into this preschool by having, I don't know, exceptional abilities, applying early, spending that money. Lots of different preschools now. And it's becoming more prevalent that people are educating themselves, pardon the pun, to knowing about what schools there are out there, what alternative schools there are out there, homeschooling, things like this. So in England, you can choose the school your child wants to go to generally, within certain reasons and certain remits and terms and conditions. You can almost choose what school your child goes to. You can always move your house. Many houses are sold on the district and area they're in, and the school's report, Ofsted report. If it's got a really, really good Ofsted report for this school doing well, then the houses in that catchment area will invariably do better on the market for sale. Many people in London choose a specific part of London due to the catchment area of the school and how well the school is doing in other league tables. Nobody really wants to send their child to a terrible school. So, what kind of things do you look for? What kind of schools are there? Now, have you heard of Montessori? Montessori schools, Maria Montessori. Again, very, very interesting. Just looking into that completely different philosophy and ideology of teaching, more holistic approach. Very interesting to see that there's a different way of doing it. And in the UK, that is allowed, that's accepted. Another one would be the Waldorf School from Rudolf Steiner, also known as Steiner schools. Again, a very different approach to teaching. Really, really clever how they make things holistic and less risk aversion. And I have a friend that went to Rudolf Steiner school. They have a little bit of a reputation for being a bit cult-like a cult. And often they're costly to enter. You normally have to know somebody or be a bit connected. So Rudolf Steiner schools, there's lots and lots of other schools. Devon New Forest School, small school, Park School, Brookwood School, Inwood School, all these small schools. Some of them are connected to Montessori or Steiner, and some of them are completely independent altogether. So yes, lots of different schools. And then again, you have the other private schools, such as, I can't think of the name of one right off the top of my head, but it makes me think of like Eton, private colleges and preparatory schools. In my local town, there's probably 4 or 5 private schools. Often there's a large percentage of students there from overseas, specifically China and Japan. It's interesting that China and Japan and Asian schools have a completely different culture and ideology of work ethic in education. So for those in Asia that are very dedicated to many, many hours of focused learning, to send their children to the UK and obviously to other Western countries is very reassuring and surprising that it's happening that way around. Very interesting. So, private schools, different types of schools. Where would you send your child to school? Does it make a difference having a lot of money or having a lot of influence? Interesting. Okay. So, also I wanted to mention, and this is the reason for this video, is Ad Astra. You ever heard of that? Ad Astra. So Ad Astra was the school that was kind of founded for Elon Musk's children. Ad Astra was private, and it was set up for Elon Musk and the parents and families of SpaceX. That's where it originated. And then it was built and moved on from Josh Dana, D-A-H-N, Josh Dana. Apparently he's very well known in the circles of children that are, I don't want to say geniuses, but are very productive and proactive and good learners. So apparently he, meaning Josh Dannon, met up with a guy called Chris Frank. Now Chris Frank apparently is the man behind School Dojo or Homework Dojo. And that is a platform where parents and teachers can liaise and connect and give homework and help the relationship between the child and the school. So they're able to learn a lot more, know what's going on, how well their child is performing. This Class Dojo is a really big platform, an online platform that's in a lot of schools. I mean, I've heard of it, and I think a lot of other people have heard of it and use it to give out homework and monitor the child's progress without having to come into the school on a regular basis. So that is really popular. They call it kind of like a portal into the education. Okay, so anyway, this Josh Dannon and Chris Frank from Ad Astra, they got together and they're developing and rolling out a new learning education experience. Now, when I first heard about it and I heard the name Elon Musk, it pricked up my ears and I thought, ooh, Elon Musk shakes up all sorts of industries. So what is Elon Musk going to do about school? And then I watched some videos about how he was unhappy with the idea of his children being in mainstream school. If his children, he wants his children to be high performing and much more critical thinkers and problem solving, because we know that he's quite outspoken about the degree and how that's not a metric that he looks for when he's recruiting. So this new platform is called Synthesis. 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 Now, I'm under the understanding it's available around the world and also for teachers around the world, although they're not called teachers, they're called facilitators. You'd have a teacher that's the facilitator, and then you'd also have a teaching assistant that's, again, more of a hands-on facilitator with the technical side of things. So this Synthesis, as far as I know at the moment and from what I can garner from the videos and the information online, is quite expensive, but it's more for high achieving students. And what I gather at the moment is generally around once a week, 1 hour session. And what I've seen is these students, these young students between 8 and 18, I think, or 8 and 16, are brought together in groups called cohorts. And these groups where the teacher actually steps quite far back and doesn't give much instruction, maybe just some guidance and a little bit of encouragement for individual students to find their place in this group, in this cohort, to encourage a student to lead on this particular exercise, or another student to support, and give some ideas to help move the game forward. Because this is an online streaming service where obviously they're connected all online with videos and webcams. And the idea is there's many different types of video games specifically designed for Ad Astra, which were then taken a few of the best games, or one of the best games, into this synthesis. And these games are about different topics and different subjects, but they're not coming across as teaching a child what to do. It's kind of like team building exercises where the students have to work out what's going on, what the objective is, and how best to get to that objective, and work with each other to find out the strengths and weaknesses of the team and how the team can achieve the goal. So that's the premise of it. It's very exciting, very interesting, and also a little bit expensive. From what I understand, and please tell me if I'm wrong, but I've worked out it's $180 for a 1-hour session once a week. That is a little bit expensive for 1 hour. So, like I said, that's a lot of money. But again, this is for high achieving students. This seems a very different and radical way of teaching, of empowering and gifting knowledge to young students. I think Elon Musk said in one of the interviews that you can't prize a child away from a games console. It's that engaging, they want to do it. And when they have the interviews after they've finished, and you can look online on YouTube, I think there's a lad called Jake's Review. And this lad says that, oh, he had a really good time, it was interesting, we did this, we did that, and we had to do it. And they're very, very passionate about this synthesis and about their cohorts and what they had to do and the fact that it's online. So part of me thinks this is amazing. The co-founders talk about how they can scale this up, and bring it out to the masses. Very much like Elon Musk with his Roadster and expensive electric cars in the beginning, how they were very expensive, and then as the production and the other aspects that were needed to make it affordable came to fruition over time, then so the same can happen with this education system of synthesis. Maybe it'll be a case of all students will learn online through super engaging games and connectivity of understanding people, working with people, problem solving, all right, and logic-based things. I think that's very, very exciting. Occasionally I take a step back and I reflect and I think, okay, this is very exciting, very new, very different. What could be the potential downsides to something like this? Is it important for children and students to be running around outside? Is that part of education? Like in the UK, we have playtime. Time for the children to go out, run around, burn off some energy, physically move their bodies and jump. Also risk assessment. These children are learning risk assessment. When they graze their knee, they fall over and they hurt their knee, you know, that they understand about maybe doing up their laces or jumping out of a tree or playing on the monkey bars, you know, all these things. And physically being near another human being and sharing ideas and thoughts together, sharing a pen, a crayon, these kind of things. Are these things that are missed out with online learning? That physical human connection of being near another human being? Is that a serious part? Is there a detrimental effect for the children not having that if they learn online? Let's just think about that for a moment. So social skills, online social skills to in-person social skills, do they differ a lot? What other things are they not getting, or what are the downsides of young people and students being online for their learning and not in a classroom? So there must be some other benefits to having a student listen and take turns and sitting down and, well, maybe as I said before, maybe that's the old model of teaching students. Is there something other than logic-based learning? Is there something for understanding the history and the fundamentals and the reasoning behind why this is done this way or that is done that way, or the theory of how things happen? So it's great to understand that you can do a logic-based problem-solving game together, but actually getting the physical skills of using a pen, counting and moving counters to visualize your counting and to visualize other parts of maths. You don't always, and that is probably why we had schools and classrooms together, so we could pool resources. We can put all the resources together in a cupboard and use it when we need it when we're teaching this subject, or the other class can use it when they're teaching that subject. And having the physical object that a child is not going to have in their bedroom for classroom teaching can really help make an abstract concept, let's just say of a cube, for example, more accessible and easier to see and visualize and touch and feel. Because sometimes that's another way of learning, you know, or I don't know, or not just touching or listening and seeing, but the auditory, you know, or smelling that different aspect of learning, whether it's a mystery box about animals. That's not something you're going to get at home. You know, it's often in some schools there is like a guinea pig or some other animal or creature to help teach children about responsibility. Growing plants, spraying the plant with water and feeling the mist, not just to learn about plants, but water and water cycles. Some of these things, that sensory, physical sensory part of learning that you can't get online. You might not have it in every child's home for them to go and access. So pooling resources could be another part of, or the downside of online learning. And I can see why Elon Musk would want to teach these children what he wants and what he needs for his industries. But there's more than just Elon Musk in the world. There are other people that want to debate and have support in learning about the legal system, or about financially budgeting with money. and the histories of money, the histories of all sorts of things, the theoretical side of things. So, does Elon have everything wrapped up? Does Elon have all the answers? I'm not so sure. Could be very interesting future to see where this goes. And technology. Leapfrog is a technology company that makes learning resources for children. How much technology should we give to children? Because now you see children in a pushchair playing on a phone, watching Peppa Pig. Is it becoming a digital nanny? Is that acceptable that your mother's not engaged with the child whilst walking in the park? Because the child is in a pushchair or stroller watching Peppa Pig. How far does technology go? What's the downsides of technology? Children, education, technology. Big topic. All right, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I want to know. Does your child watch Peppa Pig? Does your child go outside and play in the grass, in the trees? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. So, that's it for today. I'd like to ask this opportunity for you to help me out. If you would hit that subscribe button and like and bell notification, would really help YouTube to understand if you like what you hear, if I'm giving you some benefit, some value, if I'm helping you in the slightest. I would really appreciate that and be grateful. It would help generate more content and help me keep going, giving out more and more value, hopefully, to people learning to speak English language. Okay, so thank you very much. Like I said before, have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not going to learn English. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.